Bill Cunningham, the great American, of course, the great Allyn Root, predicted that Biden would not be the nominee. Both of us kind of thought it would be Michelle Obama, who's speaking, I think, on Tuesday night, but instead Kamala Harris. I still have a hard time believing that she can win, and it's almost as if the Democrats are intending to lose by nominating her. Another word salad came out yesterday, which was indecipherable. And Allyn Root has some columns up, which are very good. And Allyn Root, welcome again. But before we get into your columns, which are excellent about red state attorney generals indicting Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. But before we get there, what happens? The convention takes place. We're a few hours away, and 100,000 people go nuts. It's a repeat of 1968. There's complete disruption inside the hall. Chaos reigns supreme. The Chicago businesses, normally businesses, when a big convention comes to town with an extra 50,000 people, the businesses are wide open. All the Chicago businesses are shut down. They've boarded up. They got 5,000 cops here, 3,000 cops there, private security for everyone. It's a monstrous repeat of 1968. So what happens after the convention? She goes through another word salad. She has her powwow with, I guess, Oprah Winfrey or Joe Scarborough, and she makes a fool of herself again. It's the end of September. She's down 5 points, which means she's down 10 points. Do they substitute and go back to Joe Biden in a coup? And even the New York Times this weekend said it was a coup when Joe Biden was kind of taken out of the presidency for next year. And will they go back to Biden and say, you know what, the only way to win this thing, in addition to using those Zuckerberg bucks, $500 million to register all these new voters, that you need to step down under the 25th Amendment now and install acting President Kamala Harris. Can we look forward to that?
I'm certain that's going to happen. I mean, I've written commentary after commentary about all the things that I think will happen before the election and also after the election if Trump wins, and I'm still assuming somehow, some way that Trump's going to win. I think that, we need to pray and we need to work our asses off, right? What's that famous saying? God helps those who help themselves. So you can't just sit around praying and waiting for him to do something. We got to do something, but you also got to pray and hope there's some divine intervention like there was when Trump turned his head and that bullet missed. It was the most miraculous thing that's ever happened in history. And boy, does time go fast. We've already forgotten it.
Right.
Everyone seems to have forgotten Trump almost died. And it was a month ago. It was the most incredible thing. God stepped in, moved his head, and he lived. And it was a miracle. Well, what did he do that for? Did he do it so Trump could lose? That makes no sense. So I still think we're going to win this thing. But I do think if we win, by the way, before I get to your question, I think you better be prepared. You better be armed the day after the election is decided. And that won't be probably November 6th. It'll probably be 2 weeks from then.
Jeez.
Because we all know that, mail-in ballots and the way Democrats operate, no one's going to call this election for days after the election. But when it finally gets called, I expect massive rioting and anarchy in this country if Trump wins between that day and January 20th when Trump swears in. Remember, the president will still be either Biden or Kamala Harris at that point. So you're going to have a Democrat administration in charge, and the country's going to be burning to the ground. It won't be Trump able to respond. He's going to be the presumptive president, but he won't be the president. So that's the danger zone for this country, is that 2-month period after the election and before Trump swears in and the nation's burning down because that army of 20 million thugs who are illegal aliens will be, let loose by the Democrat Party because they don't want to be deported, and they're going to make their efforts known. So that's the big warning I've got if Trump does win. And then I've also said in those columns again and again, I believe sometime between the Democrat convention and late September, they're going to make or force Biden to step down, and they're going to make her president, Kamala Harris, which gives her, more credibility, more gravitas, and more power, as the power of the presidency always means something to everybody, different than not being president. So I think they're going to do it. I have no doubt, because it serves no purpose to them to leave Biden in the job when they could bestow that power on Kamala while she's running for president. So I think it's going to happen. I just think that the single biggest thing I want to say to your people on this call today, on this interview today, is that I don't believe the polls for a second. Everyone I know, everyone is for Trump.
Yes.
No one is for Kamala Harris.
Nobody.
The polls are BS. This woman is the most unpopular, unlikable, incompetent, radical communist, and now even Throw in drunk. We're now hearing she's constantly drunk.
Right.
There are police sources that say she's always soused. It's just ridiculous that she could be her ideas for the economy, price controls. She wants to turn us into Cuba and Venezuela. We'll be starving in the streets. There'll be no food. The aisles will be empty. The shelves will be empty. These people are madmen. She's a step beyond even Obama and Biden. It just gets worse every time. So her and Walz are the most incredible to the left combination in the history of America. It's like we want to go back to communist Vietnam, communist China, communist Soviet Union, communist East Germany, Cuba, Venezuela. We're going down that path. Nobody is supporting Kamala besides the dumbest of the dumb. So I do believe we're winning. I do believe there will be a landslide based on the Electoral College and the battleground states. You're not telling me in the Rust Belt where you live, in Ohio, in Michigan, in Wisconsin, in Pennsylvania, they're going, oh, Biden's gone, but we love Kamala. That changed our mind. Now we're voting for Kamala. This is ridiculous. I do believe we're winning, but I also, now let me give you the scary part. I do believe the reason they use fake polls is because if Kamala was losing by 10 points, they couldn't steal the election. It would look terrible. So they make it look close or Kamala slightly ahead. So when she does win slightly, just like Biden won slightly by a few thousand votes in a few battleground states, it's plausible. It's plausible deniability. They could say, look, we didn't steal it. She won fair and square. Look at the polls. She was ahead. She was even. She was down by 1, so we pulled it out. I just think the massive steal is in play again, and this time it's different than last time. This time it's very simple. It's one thing, Bill. It's used the 20 million illegals or so that they brought in. I don't know if it's somewhere between 10 and 20. I think it's 20 when you add gotaways. I think they grossly underestimated, that they brought in 10. It's really 15, and then there's 5 million gotaways. So it's 20 million new illegals in our country, and they're going to register every single one of them. They're doing it right now, and they're going to use those votes to steal the election because none of those are in the polls. So that's what keeps me up at night.
Well, you're in the state of Nevada, which has that driver's license rule, which 18 states have it, that when you get a driver's license, legal or illegal, you get one, that you automatically have sent to you a ballot in the mail. So that whole system is ripe. How do you overcome the cheating in a state like Nevada, Arizona, in which California's gone, in which you have literally hundreds of thousands or a couple of million illegal aliens getting driver's licenses, which is legal in that state, but then they get mailed a ballot? How do you overcome that?
Look, sometimes I've come on your show. I've given lots of great ideas over the years to conservatives and to Trump directly, but I don't always have an answer to everything. I'm not an election lawyer, so I don't even know. The answer is, of course, you're not supposed to give driver's license to illegals, and you're not supposed to not ask them, are you an American citizen? That's the easiest. The easiest answer in the world is every person needs to be asked. Yeah. Are you, prove to me you're an American citizen in order for me to give you a ballot. It's that simple, but that is not the law of the land. I try my best. I had a lot to do with no tax on tips. I had everything to do with no tax on seniors. That's my idea. No tax on Social Security for seniors is my idea given directly to the president, who immediately went ahead and used it and is now saying it at every rally. No tax on Social Security for seniors. That is Wayne Root's idea. So, the idea I've got for illegals right now is I'm about to tell him, because I asked President Trump to call me, and I did that on Monday. I called his office and said, I really need to talk to him. I got some great ideas for him. And on Tuesday, I'm in my car, and I'm driving to dinner at 7:30 at night, so it's 10:30 on the East Coast. This guy works all day, and at 10:30 at night, phone rings, and it says no caller ID.
Uh-oh.
And I said, no. So I'm not going to answer a phone that says no caller ID, so I didn't answer it. And then it immediately goes to message, and I check the voicemail, and it's, hey, Wayne, it's your favorite president, Donald Trump. Can you give me a call back? You're the one who asked me to call you. Where are you, man? Come on, Wayne, call me. So, 24 hours after I told him to call, he called the next night. And I haven't spoke to him yet, but hopefully I'll hear from him again, in the next day or two. One of the things I want to tell him, Bill, is he needs to announce now at every rally, the same way he announced no tax on tips, same way he announced no tax on Social Security for seniors, he needs to announce that we are going to prosecute every illegal alien that votes, and you're going to be the first people we deport out of this country. I'm warning all of you, because you have to warn them that they're not going to vote. If they vote, they will be deported in the first wave, along with the criminals, the felons, the murderers, and the rapists. You can't vote in America, and if we find you voted, we're going to do an intensive search of every vote in this country after I win. We're taking you out. You're leaving the country. So do not vote, or you will be deported, or you will spend 5 years in American jail and then be deported. We've got to scare the bejesus out of them. And the joke is, if I say that, Democrats would say, "What a terrible person!
Terrible.
What a racist!"
Awful.
Don't they say that illegals don't vote in the first place?
Well,
so therefore, what I'm saying shouldn't bother them.
It's a felony to vote.
Voting,
It's a
so
felony.
Don't worry.
It's a felony to vote illegally. The party the prosecutor, Kamala Harris. I hate to say Kamala. I better say Kamala Harris. The prosecutor should love the fact the law is enforced and the law says you can't be illegal and vote. I would think she would say, "I'll join with the president, Donald Trump, and making sure that's the statement." Is that ever going to happen?
No, that's never going to happen. And let me give you two more ideas. I want to be upfront with my fans on the Bill Cunningham show with two other ideas I've got for President Trump. So no tax on tips, no tax on seniors for Social Security. I want him to add to no tax on overtime. You like that idea?
Love it.
Let's get America working again. You work 40 hours a week, great. I want your tax to be as low as possible for those 40 hours. But once you are asked to work overtime, no tax on your overtime. And you know what that would mean? Everyone would look forward to working 50 and 60 hours a week. Wouldn't America be great? We'd all be working again.
More productive.
And we'd be looking forward to it. More production, people rewarded for work. So no tax on overtime. And here's one more. Because when you talk about no tax on tips, you're talking about getting 12 million votes, 12 million waiters, waitresses, service employees. When you talk about no tax on seniors, that's 65 million votes. And when you talk about, and God knows how many there are for no tax on overtime, it's pretty much every working man and woman in America, you get their votes. And let me give you one more with 16 million voters. I want him to propose a income tax credit for military veterans.
Great.
So just like if you're a parent, you automatically get $2,000 off your taxes right on the top. Why shouldn't a military veteran get $2,000 off your taxes right at the top? Why shouldn't there be a tax credit for the rest of your life for having been in the military and served your country and risked your life to the United States of America? That's 16 million military veterans who would say thank you with a vote for President Trump. I'm looking to put together a coalition to win this election, and I think that's the way to do it. No tax on tips, no tax on seniors, no tax on overtime, and a tax credit for military veterans. Those are Wayne Root's ideas.
Well, get them to the president immediately. I got to get on to this one issue. I want to talk about the red state attorney generals. You have a column up at rootforamerica.com. But on Wednesday, September the 18th, Judge Merchan, we forget about him, has denied all the motions to delay sentencing to after the election. He's denied the motions to grant a new trial and throw out the indictment because after the U.S. Supreme Court ruling on presidential immunity, the whole case in New York is thrown out. There were numerous White House employees of the president that testified. They can't testify. That's gone. And what happens on the 18th of September if Merchan sends them to prison?
Well, look, I wrote a column. It doesn't solve that problem because there's nothing I could do about Merchan, although he's another one that should be indicted for treason by red state attorney generals. I mean, he's a judge that is off the reservation. He's out of his mind. He's got Trump derangement syndrome. He refuses to recuse, despite the fact that his daughter's made millions of dollars, both with Adam Schiff and with Kamala Harris. It's a joke. It's a travesty, and there's no way the man shouldn't be taken off the case. And you can't do it in New York. But I use that as a win for all of us in my most recent column. I said, look, the precedent has been set. If you are a judge in a blue state and you're a liberal or a communist,
right,
and you're in that blue state, you can do whatever you want. You're an AG, you're a judge, you're a jury, you're a DA. You get away with murder. You can do whatever you want. You can indict a ham sandwich. As long as the ham sandwich is a Republican, everybody applauds and says it's great. No one in New York seems to be raising a ruckus that New York State is now a communist state, and they're persecuting conservatives like Donald Trump. First, civil court, where they tried to take $500 million away from him for nothing.
Right.
And then criminal court, 34 felonies for nothing. And no one seems to care in New York, and there's nothing you could do about it. On the federal level, you can't impede on a state. The state is out of control. Why can't red states do the exact same thing? Take a cue. The precedent has been set, and literally indict Kamala Harris and indict Tim Walz. Tim Walz is the low-hanging fruit. A red state AG, like Ohio. I didn't even mention Ohio in my column.
Right.
I mentioned, Florida, Texas, what are really red states, Alabama, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina. I don't know. There's a lot of red states, Oklahoma, Utah, Missouri. Those red states that have a big red voter, a large amount of red voters so that they're never going to be mad at the red state AG.
No.
They should indict Tim Walz for stolen valor. It's the easiest indictment in world history. The guy lied. It's a fact. He lied about his rank. He lied about where he served. He lied about carrying weapons in a war zone.
Right.
He was not in Afghanistan. He was not in Iraq.
No.
He lied about everything. That is stolen valor. It's a fact. So indict him right now, this minute, during the campaign. Not only do they set the precedent that you can go after President Trump, you can go after the president during a campaign, in the run-up to the campaign.
And sentence Trump during the – well, when Allyn, once again, we have 30 seconds left. The column is flashed out at red state AGs, indict Vice President Harris, and also Tim Walz, the governor. I got to run. RootForAmerica.com, RootForAmerica.com. All the stuff's up there. And Wayne Allyn Root, you're the best there is, and thank you for coming on the Bill Cunningham Show. Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you, Bill. God bless. Root for America.
RootForAmerica.com. I'm staring at it right now. Great ideas. What do you think? Bill Cunningham with you every Sunday night.